Marcus Samuelsson, it is a rare breed who won't know you, but there are still some people in the world who don't know you. They may have encountered your brand, seen you on TV, maybe they've eaten your food and not known that it was your food.
Yeah.
But you know, there are still some Marcus Samuelsson stories to be told out there.
Absolutely.
But let's start from the beginning. The most interesting thing to some people about you is your differentness.
Yeah.
And really your career took off in America, and now you're one of the hottest chefs around.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that, like any other Swede with the name Marcus Samuelsson, I was born in Ethiopia and grew up in a small town called Gothenburg, which is really on the west coast in Sweden. And I went from one of the warmest places on the earth to one of the coldest places. But our household was filled with love. It was filled with, we were a regular family. Besides the fact that, you know, my parents were white and my sisters, and, you know, you were a mixed family. My auntie was Jewish and my cousins were Korean and stuff like that. We were just a mixed family that, you know, do what a regular family does.
In Western Sweden, doing what families do also means some fishing.
Absolutely. You know, on my father's side, they were professional fishermen, but my uncle was still sort of doing that full time. And when school was out, summertime, we went straight up to the summer house, spent the summers with my uncles and aunts, and we fished every day. Mackerel, crab, cod, you name it. If it was in the ocean, we picked it up.
And your grandmother cooked the food, or at least showed you how to cook the food.
Absolutely. Helga is definitely... My mom was not a good cook, but my grandmother Helga, she was an amazing cook. So everything I really learned about cooking, not just the techniques, but how to taste, how to smell, how to touch food, when to preserve, when to pickle, how to save every part.
You have very vivid memories of your youth in Sweden. Do you remember your life in Ethiopia? You were very young. You left before you were 3?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, my Ethiopian memories really come from my older sister that was adopted at the same time, Linda. She's really the one that had more memories, talked to me a lot about Ethiopia, you know, kept being curious about Addis and where we came from. And then 20 years later, when we went back together, it was really based on Linda's curiosity, and she always like, I want to go back. I want to see if there's some family left. I want to know what happened to our birth father and so on. So that was really due to my sister. I was just busy cooking here in New York, doing my chef life.
So you weren't fully identifying with that?
You know, coming to America helped me identify more as an Ethiopian, because here everyone is an immigrant of some sort, right? And when people saw me on the street, they always, you know, obviously saw me as an Ethiopian man first. And I was like, well, I'm Swedish. And then as long as, you know, the more I got involved with the Ethiopian community, and I started to realize what a rich, mystique, exciting community it is, and rich history it has, and culture. And so it's really coming to America that I started to discover it more. And going to places like Washington, D.C., where you have a huge Ethiopian community.
The reason you had to leave Ethiopia is you and your sister and your mother all contracted tuberculosis.
Yeah, TB, yeah. And it was, you know, very common at the time. Still a big issue in Ethiopia. And sometimes, you know, in life, the worst that can ever happen to you can also be a saving. And for us, it became our ticket to get adopted. My mother didn't survive. But, you know, it's one of these things that I always think about, what if? But at the same time, I'm very happy that I got the opportunity to be raised in Sweden, and I love Sweden just as much as I love New York, you know, and Ethiopia. So I feel like I have 3 homes.
What's the what if you had grown up in Ethiopia? What would
what if? I mean, I gone back to my village, and the chances of me being a farmer and being just in Ethiopia, being that where, you know, just lived a completely different life. I've been very fortunate, been able to work with my passion throughout the world, whether I've been to Japan or Australia or Switzerland. And I've had the fortune to live out my passion. And that's not a lot of people that can say that.